In 2021, I went to Costa Rica for an ayahuasca retreat. And on the second night of ceremonies, I had set myself an intention. Merge me back with my soul at all costs. And after the third cup offered to me by the shaman, I then made my way back to my bed space and laid down on my front. And I became aware of and remember listening to the people all around me. And I remember hearing crying, laughter, screaming, vomiting. And it faded away and I became acutely aware of my heartbeat. Boom, 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 and then nothing. In this experience, my heart stopped beating. And then I exhaled. It was like the final exhalation. I felt it in my toes. And then my eyes closed. And it was made very, very clear to me that I had just died. It's like your feelings speak to you, or I'm given insights from a place that isn't normally available to me on a normal day. And I remember feeling scared, terrified, and so worried. There was this voice that said to me, I told you we shouldn't have done this. Now we're going to die. And I remember feeling, I'm never going to get the opportunity to tell my mum, my brothers and sisters, the ones I love and care about, that I love them. I remember feeling sad because now they were going to have to suffer the death of a loved one. And then all of a sudden, ecstasy washed over me. And I remember feeling exhilarated. It was exhilarating to be unburdened by the human body. And I understood in that moment that if this was true and I had died, that it was okay. And that if the ones who loved and cared for me had to suffer, that too was okay, because that would be part of the journey that they came here for. And then once I had understood this, I began to travel through different realms and universes, dimensions. And I arrived at this place and there was a being there. I can't even begin to describe what this being looked like, but it gestured with its left hand. And I remember I had no body. So as I put my focus on where it was pointing, I saw the avatar of Ricardo Chin stood there completely lifeless, motionless. And then it pointed with its right hand. And as I looked, I saw an empty platform with nothing there. And I didn't understand. And I remember I looked back at the being and I spoke to it in English. I said, I don't understand. And once again, it gestured with its left hand. I focused there. I saw the avatar of Ricardo Chin, completely lifeless. And then its right hand, empty platform. But this time, it was like loads of information came into my being. And I understood. I understood what the being had been saying. And this time I spoke to the being. but not in English, in another language. It was weird. It was like a weird throat noise. But I understood everything I was conveying in the message. And the being spoke back to me. And the being confirmed what I had understood. And it said, yes, you are all aliens. And you come here to this place to enter the game of life. And it explained, for example, you would have Maria. Maria would have a daughter who would then have another daughter, and Maria would understand what it is to be a mother, to be a grandparent, to be loved, amongst many other things in her life. And then you could have John. John would have a daughter who would die at 5 years old from an illness. John would understand and experience the ultimate loss. And then you would have Ricardo. Ricardo would be unlucky in love and experience a deep loneliness. Once the being had explained this, it changed everything. I then understood that any experience I had ever had in my life, no matter what label I had given it, this is bad, negative, unwanted, sad, they all had value in them. It validated every experience I had ever had in my life. These were experiences I had chosen. I had come here to have these experiences. And the value in that is phenomenal, priceless. Once I understood this, the being then offered me, now you can go back to the life of Ricardo Chin, or, pointing at the empty platform, you can start again in another life. But inside of me, I'd already made the choice, because I knew I had to go back to the life of Ricardo Chin. I chose that. I had to see what happens from now. How does it finish? And the minute I decided I wanted to go back to the life of Ricardo Chin, there I was, back in that room, listening to people cry, scream, laugh, vomit. And I remember laughing, because it's like the universe had just shared all its secrets with me. Me, I felt special. And I remember visualizing my dad, my gran, my auntie, my closest friend, Ethan, who were all passed away. But the vision I was shown was like them going down the slide of life, getting to the end of it and running back to the steps that would lead them back up. My turn, I want to go again. Life is this precious, precious gift that we've been given. What did I learn from this journey? I learned that, firstly, if there's anyone I love in my life here and now, now's the time to tell them that. Don't leave it till it's too late, because one day it will be too late. So, Mum, I love you. My brothers, my sisters, I love you so much. My friends, my loved ones, you all know who you are. I love you deeply. And it showed me that one of these days I will die, and there'll be nothing I can do about it. And that my loved ones will have to deal with that and work through it with their own tools and come to their own understanding about what loss and suffering is. And it also showed me that there is value in everything. No matter what label you want to put on an experience, there is value to it. And that I shouldn't get too pinned down looking at the event itself. I should search deeper and look for the lesson within it. What a precious gift life is. I also want to say, this is not a call for people to go and drink ayahuasca. That used to be my thing. I'm not telling anybody to go and do anything. I'm not telling anybody to go and do or be anything. We are all here on our own journeys. I've just decided that I want to share some of mine. Have a beautiful day, family.